This is Ben Mandelker, and this is actually my first ever Substack live. I don't know. I just decided to turn it on today. Maybe I just had some extra time on my hands. I just posted something, so I'm feeling very inspired and Substacky. So I thought, why not give it a whirl? It's very exciting seeing people already joining in on the side with the live chat. Um, it's interesting, because I've gone on Instagram Live several times. I do lives all the time with Watch What Crappens, but never done it in the space of Substack. I almost feel like I have to be more serious. I feel like I have to be more academically minded. Naveen says, "Hi Ben, love your Substack. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really trying to make a push to grow it. I originally was thinking, okay, I'm gonna build it to 10,000 subscribers, and then maybe I can do a cookbook. I decided I'm just going to just focus on growing it. If I do a cookbook, I do a cookbook, but I also really enjoy just making food and talking about cookbooks. I love talking about cookbooks. I'm actually really obsessed with buying them and then talking about them. Claire says, "Girl, I'm stuck in an organizational nightmare. Clothes everywhere. Thank you for the distraction." Guess what, Claire? I actually am supposed to be part of the organizational nightmare. I was just about to organize my closet and put away my laundry, and I decided I'm just going to do Substack Live instead. So I just figured I would hop on here. I would love to hear what cookbooks people have been using recently or been purchasing. I can't stop buying them, which is so bad. I also can't stop buying board games. Cookbooks luckily take up much less space than that. And also, by the way, sorry if my eye line, if I'm not making great eye contact with the camera. My camera is up here, but my screen is down here, so it's a little weird. Um, So Claire says most recent purchase was Allison Roman's latest. Oh, Something for Nothing is great. It was just nominated for a James Beard Media Award, deservedly so. I really, really love it. Um, one of the real exciting things for me was back in December, Allison Roman came on to Watch What Crappens, and I was so excited about it. I've been such a fan of hers for so long, and it was really hard to not fangirl over it. We have people from Bravo on our show all the time, and it's always very fun, and I'm pretty chill. But Alison Roman, I was definitely impress her, make her your friend, which was great. She was super cool, by the way, super cool. And actually, as soon as it started, it was normal, but it was just very funny. Alexa says, "I love reading your thoughts about cookbooks. I purchased some that you've recommended. I really need more." I totally get that. By the way, I would love to hear which ones you purchased, Alexa. I would love to know. I'd love to know where my influence lies. I brought two cookbooks with me here because I was like, well, I don't know if anyone's going to join. I don't know if anyone's going to join my little live and talk with me. So I have I brought with me for show and tell. This camera's really tight on my face, by the way. Is it normally like this on Substack? I brought Galette. Is this backwards also? Can you guys tell me if this is backwards? Because the way I see it, it looks backwards. Galette. And I brought Better at Home by Clue Henry. These are two cookbooks I've purchased recently that I've been really enjoying. I'm gonna say it. I've been enjoying the fuck out of them. I'll say it. Let's not be precious. We can curse around here and say I've been enjoying the fuck out of these cookbooks. I really have been. Um, Galette, I just wrote a whole thing about Galette about I just published it maybe about an hour and a half ago or 2 hours ago about I first of all I love galettes in general. I don't know what it is. They're pretty much the same as pies, except they're not in a pie dish. You just sort of plop them down and fold stuff up. Gosh, I can't wait to get to a place where I know how to bring up visuals during my Substack live. I'll have to practice that. But I don't know, they're not any easier than pies. That's what I sort of discovered as I was writing this post about galettes, even after having made several galettes, and not just from this book, but over the years. In my mind, I'm like, ugh, I love a galette, just so much easier than a pie. It is literally not easier. You still have to put the same amount of time and attention into making the crust. And then it cooks for approximately the same amount of time, maybe slightly shorter because the way the pies are, but it's not like a snacking cake versus a cake. A snacking cake is okay, throw this together. Don't worry about room temperature necessarily so much. It takes 10 to 15 minutes to throw it together, maybe 30. It bakes for 35. and then it cools down, and then you top it with a glaze, and you're good to go. But like a galette is like as much time as a pie. So it's not that it's any easier, but I just feel like there's just not as much pressure with a galette. With a pie, it's like, how is your crimping? How's the crimp look on the edge? And how's your lattice work? Although I literally never do lattices. And then there's like the soggy bottoms, and everyone just gets so deranged about pies. Whereas a galette, it can just look super wonky. And it's like, okay, if it's like not a perfect circle, if it's like an oval, if it's a diamond, if it's a square, it almost makes it better because I feel like galettes are all about like, you just put this together with your hands and like you just wanted to shape it with your tools and if it looks shaggy and crazy, that's okay because it came from the heart. I don't know, and I actually do feel like it's true. It does feel more heartfelt. Okay, I'm gonna look over here, see if anyone has come in. Okay, Naveen says I prefer the crust to filling ratio of a galette. That's true too. You actually I was gonna say you could get more crust from a galette, but if you have a double crusted pie, then that's false. I don't know, I just think that galettes can just be really fun. I also love the tradition of savory galettes, and so as I wrote about in today's post, a lot of my, all the galettes I've made so far from galette, have been savory. I don't know why I just didn't do the fruit galettes. I guess maybe because there are a lot of fruits I'm not, like, a huge fan of, so I wasn't as drawn to a lot of the fruit recipes, but I also didn't do the chocolate galettes. I don't know, I think savory galettes are really, really fun. I think adding crust to savory foods is, like, a great way to go. It's a great lifestyle to have. So I just went right to the savory dishes because I also really enjoy savory foods being used in interesting ways, like in a galette or a pie, even a cocktail. I'm always gonna go towards a vegetal herby cocktail before I do anything that's like a fruit juice cocktail. I will always choose a cucumber something or another than a citrus something or another every single time. Um, so Alexa says, I bought Kismet and Night Market. So far, I like them both a lot. Oh, great, great representation of Los Angeles restaurants there. Hi, LW. Um, those are two really good cookbooks. I've cooked from Kismet. I've cooked several recipes, but I feel like I still won't have to cook much more. My friends Matt and AJ actually wound up buying the cookbook, and they've made a whole bunch of stuff from it, and I've had a lot of their food. The Kismet cookbook is legitimately very, very, very good. It's the rare restaurant cookbook that cooks like one of these Alison Roman type, like, home cookbooks, and that's really, really important to me. I've just sort of come to realize that I'm just gravitating towards cookbooks that are made by home cooks and are for home cooks. I still buy international cookbooks, but, a lot of times, people are like, it just gets very caught up in process or more difficult to find ingredients, and I'm just really drawn towards books that will like, let me make something interesting and fabulous and elevated from easily accessible things. So, Kismet does that, and then it's actually ironic, I'm talking about international cookbooks, Night Market is so good, it is so good, that's my favorite Thai cookbook that I have, and, you do have to go to a Thai market for that sort of stuff. I don't mind going to a market. I actually love going to an international market. It's just, I I I find that some cookbooks are there to bring you into the world of either that restaurant, that culture, that I don't know, what that concept and some cookbooks are like, "Okay, here's how to make dinner." And I am really gravitating towards those lately. So, LW says, "What is your favorite simple, easy, quick galette?" My favorite galette of all time actually isn't even in the galette cookbook. It's from the cookbook Palestine, and it's like a beet, onion, and is it feta or goat cheese galette, and it is sensational. It is so good. It takes a little bit of time, but that one is heavenly. There's also really good there's a good galette in Six Seasons that I think is like a charred galette. His crust is a little sweet, which is weird, and some people have been put off by that. But so far, everything I've made out of galette has been really great. The only ones that have been, like, not amazing from this book have been because I messed up, and it was not the book's fault, it was me. I oversalted one thing, I added an ingredient that I shouldn't have added. It's really good. So I'm super into these. I mean, quite frankly, you could just get pie dough, like, from the store, and, like, I'm not opposed to that. There's some really good pie doughs that are great, but, I really, really like Rebecca Fisker's, her method for making pie dough. So previously, my go-to method was Alison Roman's, and her pie dough is great. I've tried Nicole Rucker's cold butter method, and I feel like I need to try it again. I think I messed it up. So Alison Roman's was like my main one. Carla Lolly Music also has some really good instructional videos on YouTube about how to make a pie dough, which I found really helpful. But truthfully, Rebecca Fisker's has become my new favorite pie dough approach. The recipe is really good, and the way she describes how to go through it has, like, worked out really well for me, and so this is the one that I've connected with the most. I think pretty much all the pie dough recipes are mostly the same. I think it's just really all in terms of, like, how they're described or how you should approach it, and this one's really speaking to me at the moment. So, Tina says, "Live on Substack?" Yes, here I am live on I mean, I hope I'm live on Substack. I've been talking for 11 minutes. Um, Tina says, "More NBD fancy videos on YouTube. The one you did was so good. Thank you. I want to. I fully plan to." I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do a cookbook rundown every single month, every 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I made graphics and everything. And then it was like a series of things that got in the way. There was like the crappies, and then no excuse after that. But basically, Q1 of this year, I was just focused on the crappies. I just didn't have time to do it. What's tricky about reviewing cookbooks or talking about cookbooks is I'm still trying to gauge how much one needs to cook from a cookbook before you talk about it, like, sort of formally. Because I personally am of the mindset of, like, I cooked one thing and I read through it. It seemed really cool. I want to talk about it. I love this cookbook, you know? And that's sort of like what my vibe is. But I understand people will get upset. They'll be like, how could you say this? Because you only tried one recipe. So there's like, I'm still trying to gauge, like, what is the approach and the amount of work you have to do before you can say, "Okay, let me tell you about this cookbook and how it worked out." And the truth is, it's, like, not easy to cook even 6 things from a cookbook. Like, that means you're either throwing a dinner party or you're cooking a lot. It's just hard. It's really hard. So, I'm trying to find that balance because I would absolutely love to talk about all these cookbooks because I just love talking about things. I love talking about things that I acquire, and then if I really like something, spreading the word, and so I have all these cookbooks. I wanna weigh in, and I really like on MBD Fancy, I really love writing about the things that I've cooked and things that I've tried, and that's really fun, and I find at the moment I sit down to start writing about cookbooks that I've tried, I, like, enter this persona where I get very serious, and I'm like, "Well, the layout was absolutely spectacular." I don't wanna be serious about it. I don't think that cookbook should be serious and should be so academic. It should be like, "I bought this fucking book and it's great. You should get it, add it to your library." This thing on page, you know, 14 was amazing. Probably not 14, it's probably like a pantry ingredient. But honestly, look at this. Okay, so in galette, look at this one. So this is the spicy eggplant parm galette. And look at this picture. Like, I have to make this. This looks amazing. This is essentially a galette in a cast iron skillet. It looks delicious. Honestly, eggplant parm, not even my favorite thing. I don't even gravitate towards it. But this looks just like it can't be denied. That's the energy I want to have for my cookbook chatter. You know, just keep it easy, like you're talking with a friend. So I've just got to figure out like exactly how I want to do it. Um, but I hope all by the way, when I start doing more, I hope you guys all subscribe and follow and help it grow so it's, like, worth it. Let's see what people are talking about here. Are you chatting cookbooks? Yes. Yes, I am. Oh, I already read that. Leslie Duncan joined. Hi, Leslie. Um, Tina says, "I love a good galette. I have a good recipe for a galette, for one." Tina, tell me more. Tell us in the comments. Alexa says, "I completely agree. My previous big cookbook splurge was buying all the Ottolenghi cookbooks I hadn't previously been gifted, but there are so many ingredients that aren't accessible to me where I live currently, so I end up, inspired yet unaccomplished." I totally get that. I actually feel like the Ottolenghi cookbooks are in this weird middle space where I do actually cook from them quite a bit, and they do have a lot of ingredients, but, I feel like they're just on this side of doable. Although I recently bought Helen Go's the baking and the meaning of life, which I mentioned in today's post. Helen Go is from the world of Ottolenghi. She's part of the extended cinematic universe, and the book is like all these recipes that she has are so interesting and innovative, and I want to try them all. But then, like a few things. First of all, the organization is a disaster. Okay, I have mad respect for this woman, for this baker, this master of her craft. I have mad respect for her. But, like, chapters are called things I don't remember what the chapters are called, but they're things like memories from the heart, or something else might be like family thoughts. I don't know. I'm like, "This does not help me. Give me pies, cakes, tarts, whatever, puddings." I don't know, but, like, what I cannot stand when a cookbook author gives an abstract chapter heading. It literally is not helpful to me. It's, like, it's very academic or literary for them, but it's really annoying for me. So that has been like a barrier for me on that book, but also like her recipes are involved. And that's one of those things where where I feel inspired but unaccomplished because the other day I thought about making her kumquat amaretti that looked amazing. And she's like, okay, here's how to make the kumquat jelly. Make the kumquat jelly first. First, soak the kumquats overnight. So already, anytime I see the word overnight, I'm always like, oh, because of course I'm always just planning this an hour before I want to cook something. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You're gonna soak the kumquats overnight. Then it's like de-seed them and reserve all but 4 seeds, and you put all the seeds into a cheesecloth except for those 4, and then you're gonna put them the kumquat slices and the seeds in the cheesecloth in the water with the sugar, and then you're gonna add the 4 seeds into there, and then you're gonna cook it, and then you're gonna pull out one of the seeds, and you're gonna test the seed. If you squish it and it's tender, that means the jelly is done. If it's not tender, it's not done. And I was like, on the one hand, I appreciate the granularity of this, but on the other hand, I was like, "Lady, you already made me wait overnight. This is too much. I have to find cheesecloth. I have to tie my seeds into cheesecloth. I'm so mad." And that was just for the jelly step, but we didn't even get to the amaretti. So, like, sometimes when cookbooks do that, I'm like, "I know this will be worth the effort. I know it'll be wonderful, but also, like, this is a lot. This is a lot." I don't mean to be so go off on Helen Go. She is great. She is great, but I'm just saying there are the cookbooks that you see that you're like, you just wanna dive into it, and you do, and you suddenly make a whole bunch of things, and they're the ones that you're like you see it in the bookstore, you're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," and you get home and you realize you can never really make any of them, and that's where I'm at with that. Okay, sorry. That was a little bit of a rant. Tina says, "I'm subscribed, so when it comes, I'll be there watching." Thank you. Haley says, "Wish I could get better at baking. I followed a Great British Bake Off recipe, but neglected to swap all purpose for self rising flour on the white chocolate raspberry cake. That sucker was dense." Yeah, I bet it was delicious though. Probably was still delicious even if it was dense. Another question: what do you notice is different with the home cookbooks versus the others? That's a great question. Sometimes just the way they're written pulls you in, and like I think it really matters. Some cookbooks are a bit austere, and some cookbooks kind of, talk to you like they're a friend being like, "Oh my god, we should make this. Yeah, let's just throw, like, that chicken in there and then hand me the garlic, let's cut this up." Like, no big deal. If you don't have enough garlic, that's okay, use what you've got, and it feels almost like, "Yeah, okay, I wanna be part of that. I wanna do this. I wanna dive in." But some cookbooks are more like, you know, they're just serious. They're serious, and so you read it and you're like, "Oh, I should make that," but you don't feel in your heart, like, moved into action, and so I just talked about this kumquat jelly thing, whatever, and how it felt like it was a process and it felt a bit fussy, but I have made many recipes that have been just as fussy, but sometimes it's about, like, being invited in to the process, and I think that's really, really important. For me at this stage in my life, I should say. At a different time, I would have been totally fine with it. But now when I say with the cookbook, I think I've realized that like tone is so important. And some of it is also like, are you inviting me into a lifestyle? Are you inviting me into something that's gonna be aspirational of how I see myself? Like I have this cookbook called Le Sud, which I cooked one thing from it. I haven't cooked much from it, mainly because everything I want to cook from it the people I'd be making it for wouldn't wanna eat it. So I haven't made much, but, like, the vibe is kind of like, we're in the south of France, let's have a cocktail, let's throw some clams in the pot, drink some wine while it comes up to a boil, maybe put out some cheese, and I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly how my life is, that's exactly what I wanna do." I'm like, in LA, it's not like that, but, like, I'm like, "Yes, if I make this recipe, I'm one step closer to living that life," and I think that is those are the cookbooks that are really speaking to me right now. Maybe it's because the world is a disaster, and so I need some escapism, but in 2026, that is my vibe. Let's see. What else? Okay, and by the way, the restaurant cookbooks tend to be more austere, more serious, and so that's why it's like I don't often get as inspired by them anymore as I used to be. Productivity with Care says, "I, to be honest, have no idea how you do it all." Well, something's gotta give every now and then, and sometimes it's just the gym. Um, I trust your approach, says JK. You do you, Pikachu. I'll try my best. SB says, cook and kibitz with Doug Budin. Doug said I should go on, and so hopefully we'll do that soon. He's a really sweet guy, and I would love to cook with him. I love cooking with people in general. Uh, Emily says, a podcast where you recap cookbooks. Again, I would love to do that. In fact, back in 2019, I started one. It and I recorded one episode. It was just me like this, and I talked about, um, what was Alison Roman's first cookbook called again? Dinner. It's not called Dinner. It's, In for Dining In, and I did an episode on dining in, and then I just never did anything else after that. It's just me talking about it. I was like, "No one wants to hear me speak for 25 minutes," and yet here I am now, 7 years later, now convinced that people do wanna hear me monologue on the internet. And I think the thing that slowed me down on that one was that I had a really hard time coming up with the name of a cookbook podcast because I didn't want it to be cutesy, I didn't want to be a lot of food content's, like, very cute. It's like "Oh my god," it's like chives and butter knives. It's things like that, and I, like, didn't want that, but I couldn't find a cool name or a fun name, so it just sort of died. But now here I am, NBD Fancy, which means nothing to many people. NBD Fancy, what does that mean? And by the way, what's hilarious, I love Alison Roman, and after I came up with NBD Fancy, I realized after the fact, that's basically like saying Nothing Fancy, which is her cookbook. So I sound like a total hack, and I get it. But the origin story of NBD Fancy, which I put on my Instagram, I've mentioned it here and there, but why not go into it again? The origin of it was that my friend Judy and I were trying to describe how do you describe these Alison Roman, Molly Baz, Bon Appetit kitchen cookbooks where it has, like, hard lighting and it's sort of like easy, accessible things that you throw together, but it looks kind of like it's, like, messy, but it looks elegant and fancy, and there's herbs everywhere, a lot of dill, and, like, what is it? It's like NBD. It's like, "Oh, whatever, just do this together," but it's also kinda fancy, like, you put it out, and it's like a showstopper, and we said, we coined the genre NBD fancy, like, this is very NBD fancy, and, then when I started the Substack, I was like, "I should just call the Substack NBD fancy," and here we are. And by the way, when I say we coined the genre, we coined it amongst 2 people. It's not a phrase that's caught on. Okay, let's see. What is a galette, says JK. Um, get Galette is like a crostata. It's basically a free-form pie that you cook on a sheet pan instead of a pie dish, and you put the fillings on the round. The round will be flat on the sheet pan, and you put the fillings on top, and then you fold the edges over it. So I described it in the post today as it looks like Kenny from South Park. It looks like a windbreaker that's pulled tight, and like all you can see is your face. It's like this over the filling. And they're fun and delicious. You should try one. If you like making pies, you should try making a galette as a change of pace. Leslie says, "Okay, same. I don't gravitate to it, so let me know how it goes." LW says, "Memories from the heart, LOL." Tina says, "The galette for one is from a creator on YouTube by a lady who makes small batch recipes. Her channel is Leanne Wilkes. The galette is 3 berry, blue, raspberry, and black, and the crust is, of course, homemade. It is divine." I'm not a big berry fan, but I do trust that for berry fans, it is amazing. Tina says, "Not reserved for seeds. Be for effing real." And Lauren says, I just feel like I never have enough time for cheesecloth. Me too. And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so cheesecloth resistant. I even have cheesecloth. But then now that I have cheesecloth, I'm like, well, I don't want to use it just yet. I want to save it for when I really need it. I don't know why. There's something about it being consumable that makes me actually never use it. It's like miles on it. Like I never use my airplane miles. Um, Naveen says, one of my favorite cookbook influencers is James is eating on IG. His food always looks so good and he adjusts a lot of recipes to cook for one person. By the way, I also love like those small batch baking cookbooks, just sort of going back because sometimes like I just want to try it, see how it turns out, but I don't want to have 30 cookies hanging around. Cooking with Crappin, says SB. Haley says, wait, that's so cute, SB. What a great idea. And kumquats are so underrated. Absolutely. God, kumquats are so good. Everyone. The other night, I made a dish. This is like, I threw this together. I just roasted some carrots in the air fryer, which, by the way, air fryers, I love my air fryer. It is like a vegetable roaster. That's really all I use it for is roasting vegetables on the side. Roast some carrots in the air fryer. I made a salsa verde from their tops, meaning not a Mexican salsa verde, but an Italian one, meaning olive oil, carrot tops. I used green garlic because I had some. And then I took some kumquats and I sliced them into rounds. I de-seeded some of the big seeds and I just topped them with some rice vinegar and some salt for 20 minutes. And so they sort of pickled. And like kumquats are wonderful, but sometimes they're kind of like a ba-pow moment. You're like, whoa, kumquat, like let's relax. But pickling them kind of mellows them out. And they were so good on the carrots with the salsa verde. So good. So good. Maggie Shoop. What's up, Maggie Shoop? Monica Compton. Hello, everyone. Wendy says, hey from Waterloo. What's up, Wendy from Waterloo? Wendy says, flipping through six seasons, looking for ideas. Oh, God, I love that cookbook. I just got the six seasons of pasta and I still haven't cooked from it, which makes me sad. Alexa says, we absolutely enjoy hearing you speak on the internet. Thank you. It's such a pleasant break from the crazy state of the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like talking because it's a great break for me as well. JK says, podcast name, literally anything you use during below deck to mock Ben's terms of endearment. Yes. JK says, next live, your favorite small batch cookbooks. Yeah, the thing is, I don't actually have a lot of small batch cookbooks. I think I only have one, but I just like them in theory. Uh, but I'll try to do some more research. Pro tip, I've never done veggies in the air fryer, adding to my list. Okay, I will say this about my air fryer. I rarely use it for air frying. I rarely use it as a substitute deep fryer. I don't like batter things and put them in and then air fry and get like a faux deep fried thing. I almost entirely use my air fryer to roast vegetables. And salmon comes out beautifully in the air fryer. And I've done chicken thighs once. They were great, but it was a little harder because the texture was great, but they were like a little under in the center. So I had to like go back in. I just don't have a chicken sense with the air fryer yet. But you put some carrots in there for like 22 or 25 minutes. I'm telling you, that's the best. That's the best way to make carrots. I put cauliflower in there all the time. I put broccolini in there all the time. Like you put anything, any vegetable. It's just great. It just that way you can do other things with your oven and your stovetop. It just goes wonderful. Okay. What's for dinner tonight? Tonight may be leftovers, although tonight is my anniversary with my boyfriend, but we kind of celebrated it last night. So we ordered in food last night. But there's a bunch of leftovers here. So I may actually some of the leftovers come from this cookbook, Better at Home by Clue Henry. We especially like Kalu because Kalu supports MBD Fancy. She's always giving shout outs, which I really appreciate. Um, this is Kalu's third cookbook. The first one is Back Pocket Pasta, which I really enjoy. Her second one is called Kalu Cooks, which I like, but I haven't cooked as much from it as I want. But this one, I think this is her one. This is it. This is her big one so far. It feels like with her third cookbook, I feel like everything's really firing on all cylinders with this one because she kind of really nails that vibe of like great recipe, aspirational lifestyle, casual, inviting nature. And I just leaf through this. I just want to make every single thing in this book, every single thing. It inspires me to action, and everything I have made from this book has been absolutely delicious. I think this is a cookbook that I think we should be talking about. I'm not saying this because, you know, I will every now and then like trade messages with Kalu online. This is truly, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't say anything. Like I just opened up a random thing: peas, shoots, and leaves with buttermilk and feta dressing. Which, by the way, I think that is a play on each shoots and leaves the book. Um, but even something like this. This is like something I would want to make just anyway. I just want to make this. It looks delicious. It's a great vibe. But then it's not only that I wanna make it, but I also like the idea of making it, if that makes sense. And by the way, Tina says, "I think that should be the next book for the" this is my plan, actually. This is gonna be my next Cook the Book. Oh, by the way, did I call it Cook the Book? My friends and I call it Cook the Book. I don't know if I actually called it on the channel Cook the Book, but this will be our we are gonna be cooking this book. Um, so this one, her head note is I'll read this. The truth is, I developed this recipe because I always wanted to call something by this name. She's witty, eh? But this salad is also a bit of a showstopper. The tangy buttermilk and feta dressing is best tumbled with peak spring produce, and the snap peas offer a lovely counterbalance to the creaminess of their crunch. Serve it with whatever else you're making for dinner, and new potatoes with mint and too much butter. I actually have a bunch of snap peas. The book is better Better at Home by Clue Henry. Like, sweet corn and new potato chowder. I wanna make this. God, I love a soup, and I love corn. I'm actually obsessed with corn. I am obsessed. I can tell you about some of the things I've made from here. Okay, so she has a salmon recipe in here that that I think it might wind up being my favorite salmon. I have to say, I thought it was so good, I've been thinking about it ever since. This one here, this is, harissa and brown butter salmon, and, like, it was so good. I made it, I could not believe how good it was, and I also made one of her salads on the side that had, like, a miso lime dressing. The salmon by the way, someone says SB said, "Add these to your Amazon Lives." This one has been on the Amazon Lives, and I try to do a cookbook of the week for people who don't know, I do a cookbook of the week on Amazon Live, that I do with my podcast co-host, Ronnie. So I'm always talking about cookbooks there, but okay, this salmon, this is like story time. Let me tell you about this salmon. Um, it's 2 salmon fillets, about third a cup of harissa paste, a tablespoon plus of light brown sugar, 2 cloves of garlic, white wine vinegar, olive oil, salt, herbs. Okay. So set the salmon on a sheet pan and season well all over with salt. In a medium bowl, stir together the harissa paste, brown sugar, garlic, vinegar, and olive oil. Season with salt. Taste and adjust seasonings. Blah blah blah. Pour over the salmon with your hands, and then you just coat the salmon with this marinade, and then bake until the salmon's cooked through about 20 minutes. All it's just like simple ingredients. Cover it over. It comes out this bright red, and it's like it was heavenly. I was like, I could not believe how good this was. Unfortunately, my partner does not get down with a lot of seafood. So, I when he's out of town, I'm like, it's time for salmon. So I don't make it as much when he's around. Look at this one. Okay. Tina says we've heard a lot about the harissa salmon. Yes, probably continue to. I'm a real harissa salmon influencer. Look at that. This is chicken pie with buttered toast topping. That's funny. It's basically like a chicken pot pie, but instead of biscuits or a crust, just putting buttered toast. And like, why not? That's so easy. What a smart fix. What a smart play. I mean, I don't know if she's the first one to do it or not. I'm sure someone will say, we have been doing that in my family for 35 years. But it's the first time I've heard of it. So I like it. Oh. Bethany Frankel voice. I'm like, gotta see this. Like literally, this recipe I'm gonna show you guys gets so excited. Here we go. Because And it says, "I meant that respectfully." No, I felt it really. I felt it fully respectfully, Tina. Definitely need to cook this book. I felt nothing but respect and love from all of you guys. Don't you? Um, see this? Here's a chicken. See that chicken? People are here, by the way. I don't know. There's 40 of us. Hi, everyone. It's like a little, I feel like I'm teaching a little class in college. Okay, so this one is roast chicken, lemon, fennel, and crispy potatoes. I'll just give you the summary of it, which is that you take some potatoes, you slice them, and you essentially are going to toss the potatoes with olives, like Castelvetrano olives, and some lemon slices. And is there anything else? Was it? Let's see. And fennel, a fennel bulb, yellow onions. So what goes into your skillet? Potatoes, sliced fennel, onions, lemon slices, olives. And then you cook a whole chicken on top of it. And like midway through, you actually add some white wine. When the chicken's done, you remove the chicken and you add some pecorino onto this potato mixture. You just sort of snow on it. And then you cook it a little bit more. Mm-mm. It's like those potatoes that are now cooked down in chicken schmaltz and have melted into olives and lemon and fennel and onion. You've most certainly heard about like potatoes cooked under chicken. So, like, that's nothing new. There's all these other flavors coming together, and it's like deep, chickeny flavor, but like sour notes, but briny notes. It is like it is a big wow. It is a big, big wow. So that's a great one from this book. And the last one I'll mention is just another one where you cook chicken thighs in you brown chicken thighs and then you cook them in couscous, and the couscous takes on all that chicken fat. Dom said it's his favorite couscous he's ever had. I made it for him twice, and both times he said it. So I think like better at home. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm realizing like this is going to be the next YouTube video, and I really hope you guys all watch it. Um, I don't know if I have much more to say here. I think I'm going to sort of wrap this up. I've been talking for 37 minutes, and it is time for me to fold my laundry, but I really appreciate all you guys coming and hanging out while I pontificate about cooking and food. I hope you all go check out the galette post I put up. I really enjoyed writing that. I also really enjoyed making the galettes. So share that with anyone who you think might enjoy reading that. And like obviously I would love it if you'd subscribe, but not necessary, but I would love it. But not necessary, but I would love it. Um and I'm gonna try to do more of these. This is fun for me. I'm trying to be more engaging with this platform because it's a little hard for me to get a post up shorter than every 2 weeks, but I want to find some other ways to get some easy content up where we can talk about food and cookbooks. And I'm hoping to have some collaborations, some live collaborations coming up soon. So, yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Lauren says there are 42 of us here now. Yes, we broke through. We broke through. We're viral, guys. We're viral. We did it. And Rita Gillette says Gillette post was awesome. Thank you, Rita, so much. And I appreciate you all, and I will catch you soon. And have a great day or night. Bye.